Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Osborne here at the Brighton District Library, and today we're going to be making no-sew quilted Christmas ornaments. And the one you'll be seeing the tutorial for looks like this. We do have craft packets that you're able to pick up through our curbside delivery, and if you haven't already done so, I believe we have some left over, so you can certainly do some after the video airs as well. And without further ado, enjoy. Thank you. Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Osborne here at the Brighton District Library, and we're going to make some quilted ornaments today. And the first one that I have to show you is this red and white one. We have a green and red ornament, which is similar to the one you'll be doing today, and then just a gray and white and gold ornament. And those are just some examples. So in your craft packet, you should have received a container of pins, a ribbon for hanging, a coffee stirrer, you'll use that to press the pins in, a styrofoam ball, 8 pieces of the starting fabric, 16 pieces of the middle fabric, and 16 pieces of the third fabric you'll be using. And then finally, a longer strip of contrasting fabric, and that is going to go around the ornament once you're done. So let's move some things around here and get started. So we'll start here, open up the pins. On your ball, you're going to notice on either end, there's kind of a divot, and on the poles of each end of the styrofoam ball, and that's where you're going to start your design. So you're going to fold your fabric in half and then fold triangles down toward the center, so you have a seam running down the center, and you're going to have unfinished edges at the bottom and then finished edges on the sides. So you'll take your first pin and you're going to put it right in the center of that pole. And you might need to open your fabric up a little bit just to get your pin smushed in, and then you'll be able to just pull those pieces back together again. And then you'll put a pin into each corner as well. There are some tutorials out there who like you to put pins in the inner corners as well, and I feel like that's just wasting pins. You actually don't need that. So to get started on the second piece then, you'll fold it just like the first, and you're going to put it directly across so those corners meet right up together. Again, opening up the fabric to get your pin in, and then you can close the fabric down over that pin so it's pretty much invisible in the end. And when you're pushing your pins in the beginning, it's easy enough to do it with your thumb, but as you add more material, it gets more difficult, and that little coffee stirrer makes it really easy to get those pins in. Your third piece of fabric is going to meet right up with the other 2 pieces. And the edges will probably overlap a little bit. You don't need them to meet up exactly, and you don't want to create any space either, so it is best if they overlap just a little bit. And we're finishing up here our first layer of fabric. Okay, your first layer is done. That's what it should look like. Then you can move on to your second layer. And when you go to do your second layer, you're going to come out from the center about 1/2 inch, and you're going to lay it directly over one of the pieces that you started with. And you'll get that pinned in. And then your second piece is going to go directly across from the first piece. And that's the way you're going to work this whole pattern. You'll put your one piece on, you'll put a piece directly across from that piece, and then when you move on to the other side, do the one piece and then a piece directly across from it. It just makes it more symmetrical how the fabric lays. Okay, so we're going to speed things up a little bit here, just because you should have a good idea of what's taking place at this point. And you're going to do 8 pieces of fabric on this edge, or on this white fabric here, the middle fabric, instead of just the 4. And then when you start your third row of fabric, you're going to again come about 1/2 inch out, and you're going to find one of the pieces that lies under the other 2 pieces. And you want your edge of the fabric to meet up pretty close with the equator of the foam ball. And that's going to make the piece of fabric that you put around the center just look more finished in the end. So you'll get your pins in there, and then again directly across. And make sure that that edge is pretty close to the equator of that foam ball. Okay, now that we have those 2 pieces on, we're going to speed this up a little bit again, just because you don't want to sit through a whole half an hour of me doing this ball here. Okay, great. That side is done. And now, when you're doing this side, at least the weight from the other side will keep this side up, face up this time. So you're going to find the center on the back, and you want the seams to line up. So find the pieces that are underneath the other pieces, and then you'll line up those seams right down the center. You see there how I'm making sure that those line up. Okay. So then you'll add your second piece on, and you're going to do this side exactly like how you did the first side. You'll do the 4 pieces here in the center, then you'll overlap with the white and then the red. And the cool thing about this project is you can use whatever fabrics you like. And you know, some of you may have a lot of little fabric scraps laying around, and this is a great project to do. It takes between 30 and 40 minutes to get one done, depending on how many interruptions you have during your project. But it is a fun little thing to do, and you can do it while you watch TV, and they make great gifts, and they're also great for kids to do as well. So if you're looking for something for maybe older elementary school kids and junior high kids, high school kids, if they're interested in doing it, this is a great craft project for them as well. And you can see there how the red edges are kind of meeting up there in the middle. There's just a little white space left in the end. Okay, there we go. So we have our final ball there. And I'm just checking here to see with this material. My piece is quite lengthy, so I want to make sure to cut that off so I don't have too much to wrap around. So what I'm doing here is I'm just quickly folding it in thirds so you don't have any raw edges showing, so you don't have any of that frayed material. You can always use an iron to do this. That's probably the best thing to do. And you can also, if you wanted to pre-iron all your triangles, you could do that. But I don't find it necessary. I think the ornaments turn out great even without ironing. And it's kind of a no muss, no fuss sort of a project. So I'm just pinning the edge of that in to the ball, and I then am going to wrap that around, just making sure it stays the same width all the way around as I go. And as long as you got all of your third pieces or your third layer pieces really close to that equator around the middle of the ball, you should be able to cover successfully all of the pin heads. So now I'm just folding that over a little bit just to make it look a little more finished. We'll put our pins in here. And then we'll finish it off with our ribbon, and you can always tie that into a bow if you'd like, or just pin it in, however works best for you. Press that final pin in, and there you go. You've got a really cool ornament. Thank you so much. And comment and show us what you've come up with on your own.